Well, I guess we might as well get this shit started, shouldn't we? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of my Iron Man series. So, if you're a little new around here, I understand. I don't really upload this consistently, mostly because it just takes a lot of time to really make a video that I feel comfortable with as far as the progress is concerned. And I'm going to talk about more about that later, but I also don't upload consistently, so it makes it a little difficult for people to keep a little bit of track of what's going on here. So, this is going to be more of like an adventure style video, just talking about the things that the Iron Man has been doing recently. And as you can see on screen here, this is the last time I played, it's been a minute. They ended up changing the rejuvenating breeze level, actually, on the nature staff. So I actually had to use my auto respec points. I had to use like a ton of them just to unlock the rejuvenating breeze ability again so I could use it for faction PvP. Fun fact, I haven't done faction PvP in like 2 weeks, even though I did that. So it was basically just a waste, really. I had a pretty fat repair bill here because I ended up dying a bunch in a regular corrupted dungeon after I got my kill, just because I went AFK and it spawned me back in front of a bunch of mobs. A little annoying, but you know what? That's okay. Realistically, we have a bunch of things that we're going to be talking about today in today's video, and like one of the main things I want to go ahead and throw out there right now is that this is more of like I'm not going to have a ton of big milestones like, oh, this is what I did. This is going to be more just about the adventure, the journey of the Iron Man itself. It's going to be easier for me to make content for you guys, which is good for you, and it's going to be easier for me to be able to make something consistently, which is also good for you and good for me. So another thing that would be great for me is if you guys are enjoying the idea of the Iron Man series, or you like the idea of what an Iron Man is. If you don't know what it is, I'll explain shortly. Go ahead and leave a like on the video, and that would be just fucking awesome. I would actually really appreciate you guys for doing that. The videos don't perform nearly as well as they used to just because I don't upload consistently. It's been like, I think almost a year and a half since I really started this up, so yeah, it's definitely been a minute, but either way, if you don't know what an Iron Man is, an Iron Man account for Albion Online is an account in which I don't use the marketplace. I don't use the auction house to trade and buy things from other players. Everything I get myself. I do it by myself, and I play the game as if I were alone, effectively. So essentially what happens with this Iron Man account is I don't use other people's crafting stations. I made all of my own. I didn't start the game with premium. I started it without it and got my own premium by just earning it through getting silver drops and items and stuff, shit like that. That was a very long process. I think it took me 132 hours to get my first premium. It was pretty brutal, but otherwise, it's been a very interesting journey, and I hope that you guys enjoy this next installment of what is the adventure of this Iron Man account. If you are not familiar with the Iron Man account, you would probably not know that I actually get my silver from running items to the black market specifically. I'm not trading them with players. I understand that there's like a little bit of a link there between the black market and the regular player, but that's beside the point. This is an NPC that's buying items, effectively is what this is. I always think it's a little interesting too and a little spooky because right now you can actually see my inventory. I'm carrying like 4 mil worth of items on me. So it's definitely a little bit spooky, always running through the black, like through the red zone to get to Corleone, because I ended up actually bumping into a few gankers here, which was, that was a little spicy, I have to admit, because I mean there was at least like 3 or 4 of them that were just all running at me. It was a little spooky, but I was on a Raven, so I was fast enough to stay away from them. It wasn't too big of a deal, but I mean I don't really have a lot of gear fear in this game. I find it more like annoying to get rid of gear than anything, or like to get new gear and stuff like that. I don't really have gear fear necessarily, but this puts the fear into the gear fear, I'll tell you what. Because I mean, whenever you're about to sell like a 1.2 million silver item, oh yeah, that's a little spooky. So I have to admit it was a little tense there running back to Corleone from this from Bridgewatch. So this is how I end up making most of my money. You can see here that I'm just kind of selling everything here, just kind of tossing it. I'm not even bothering marking it down because that takes too much work, and the black market usually runs pretty quick anyway. As of right now, that armor has sold, and I basically, I ended up rebuying my premium again, so I have it for the next month or so. I did it in a little bit of a funky way, though. I ended up buying it with real money instead of actually buying it with silver, and I just moved over the gold, or moved over the GP or silver, whatever the fuck, to my main account instead. It just made it a little bit cheaper for me, realistically. I could do the math and tell you about it, but it's not super relevant. But either way, the only thing that I do sell to the regular market is, of course, the trophies, because there's an AI that buys them individually. I always mention that because I haven't gotten a singular comment that's talking about like, oh, you're selling to the market. Like, I haven't got one of those comments yet, but it's gonna happen eventually. But this is the clip I was actually talking about whenever I was talking about the premium and the math between buying gold versus just buying premium directly. It's a little different, but that's not really important to this whole little bit here. But the Iron Man does have premium again, and it's pretty fun. And I also have money on my main account, so I can just go throw it away to do whatever the fuck. It's been a pretty neat little journey so far. So I started doing Black Zone content, like killing open world mobs and stuff like that with a buddy of mine since he just recently started playing the game, and I ended up getting a bunch of Conquerors points, and I decided that I wanted to kind of spend them, and while the chest does look interesting, I did watch a couple videos on like what they have in them, and honestly, I wasn't super impressed with it. I would say that getting these tomes is probably a waste anyway, but I still like the idea of just chunking up 400k fame. I think that's pretty neat. So ultimately, I just use those points on that. I think it's pretty fun, and I have a lot of goals as far as like fame and stuff like that on this account, and I enjoy using different types of gear, so that's why I'm actually pumping this stuff up, because it actually makes it a lot easier for me to like say, oh well, I'll actually use this piece of gear, so I don't have to open up a chest only looking for 4 specific items or 5 specific items. You know what I mean? It just makes it a lot more, gives me a lot of variety in the items that I can actually take and actually use and enjoy. For example, if I find a druid robe or a cleric robe in a chest now, I can actually say, oh, well, you know what, I'll just outright use that rather than saying, oh, well, it's not a stalker jacket, so I don't fucking care. It makes the game a little bit easier for me to play typically, and it just makes it a little bit more exciting as well, since I know that, hey, this is a piece of gear that I'll actually use. So I ended up using these tomes here. I talked about it probably more than I really should have here, but I used it because I wanted to just get fame in different stuff, and I actually like the Mage Cowl. I think it's a very interesting item. Guardian boots are just generically pretty okay, and the Druid robe is fun. I enjoy the Druid robe. Is it excessive? I mean, probably, but I like it. I think it's a neat item. One of the things that originally pushed me away from playing Albion is that most of the time the content is relatively the same almost all the way through, so you don't see a ton of variety. But right now I am kind of spicing it up a touch. I am doing open world PvP and also some open world mobs and like Black Zone and stuff like that, just to give it a little bit of spice. But other than that, you're pretty much looking at just dungeons or corrupted dungeons, which effectively is just like the majority of the content that I do. However, we did actually get a lot of kills in this adventure, so right there in that last clip, I did end up having a kill. It was a cheeky little kill. I got a Morgana K from it. It was pretty neat. There was just a bunch of people. 2 guys were chasing after each other. I ended up chasing one of them down. The other one got away. No big deal. Ended up picking up a free kill, and that Morgana Cape has been somewhat useful. Also got this Mist Piercer. You probably saw it in an earlier clip. It was a pretty neat little item. I tried it out. It wasn't super great, but I like the idea of the Mist Piercer. I think it's a very interesting and neat item. I'll have to use it in group PvP at some point or another when I decide to actually do some faction warfare. But I've been running around a lot in the open world. I have to admit, the fame that you get for killing one mob is just so satisfying to me. And also this recall mechanic is fucking awesome. Absolutely love it. So I recorded this clip mostly just because I thought it was a little funny here. You can actually, if I go into my Destiny board, which I'll do here in just a moment, you'll be able to see that I'm actually really, really close. I think I'm level 98 out of 100 of Master Chef. Pretty fucking cool. Of course, I could just use my stuff to immediately get it now, but that's not really worth it. I mean, I'll probably use it eventually anyway, but still, really cool to know that the Iron Man is a Master Chef. I did have one live stream recently that I decided that, you know what, I'm just going to kind of like do a little bit of gathering, because I had just a little bit of stuff that I needed to pick up to be able to accomplish this objective, and I decided that I wanted to make like 10 sets ish of like just gear that I could throw away and do whatever the fuck with. And I ended up doing that. I ended up getting a whole bunch of stuff made, which allowed me just to kind of throw myself. I think it runs me just about 900 IP, so I can do the mid-tier corrupted dungeons, which objectively they're okay. They're not great by comparison to, of course, Slayer tier, but those are just completely different zones entirely. But realistically, it's nice to be able to have a ton of extra setups, and I have like a lot of horses right now because I've just been growing them over time. So I have a lot of horses, and I have actually a decent amount of gear, so I'll probably be holding on to this gear either to do corrupted dungeons or to throw away in the mists whenever that comes out, which I don't really know how I feel about that. It seems interesting, but it seems like kind of convoluted to get into. But I definitely will be exploring that content whenever it comes out, that's for sure. So we had a really successful stream today. We ended up getting ourselves a chest that opened up for roughly about 800k. We ended up getting an 8.1 bag, which was like the vast majority of it. We did get a tier 6 pair of swords, which I'll just use those at some point or other, so pretty generically okay. So the loot tab's looking pretty good for today. We actually ended up getting roughly about 1.5 to 2 mil on stream in a couple hours. So it went pretty good. We died a couple times, but the stuff that we died with was like incredibly marginal stuff. I ended up getting like 1v6 at one point for that. Look at that, 5 assists. Look at that, 5 assists for this man here. Yeah, that was a very interesting instance. I'm not really sure what the fuck was going on there. I didn't even have a bag on me. Like, I really, truly don't understand. I was risking like 25k. Like, and they just 1v6. You know, I hope they enjoyed their 4k split. Whatever, I don't care. But this was the other day. This is what happened earlier as well. I died with like just flat 4-1. It wasn't really super crazy, anything like that. That was actually a really funny death though. I'll probably have a clip of that in the video, but yeah, that was fucking funny. But yep, the loot tab looks really awesome right now. I picked up a few kills. I didn't really get anything good from those kills, but I have some items in here that I'm really a really big fan of having, and it was just generically a pretty good day. We also ended up getting about, I think it was 700k auto respec points. We actually used 150, so we probably actually gained 900,000 respec points today so far, which is pretty awesome. I will be using them at some point, probably to max out some of the leather shoes. I mean, I could theoretically max out something like hunter shoes, which would be really good for me because I need to have a leather shoe that's maxed out because I like leather shoes. I think they're cool. I like the cooldown reduction bonus you get on them, stuff like that. But either way, thank you so much for watching this video. If this is the end of the video, if not, keep fucking watching, I guess. I don't know. Also, what the fuck? Don't care, didn't ask, cry about it, stay mad. Wait, what? Get real, L, mulled, seethe, cope harder, hose mad, basic skill issue, ratio, you fell off, the audacity. What the fuck? This guy's going off in the chat. What is this guy's problem? What the fuck? Interesting. I love this game sometimes. Just the people. I love the player base. It's so good. So friendly. I'd be genuinely surprised if I wasn't. Yep. Perfect timing too. Hey, let's go. 1v2. GG, motherfuckers. Let's go. Double kill. Now, it should be noted that obviously I got this double kill mostly because my gear was just like considerably stronger than these guys. But the reason why I thought this clip was actually very interesting, and the reason why I'm going to keep it, because this is going to be a very extended clip here. I was making a thumbnail for the video because I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have the thumbnail be a double kill. This dungeon, for some fucking reason, decided that it was gonna be super popping. So a little bit of backstory here if you didn't watch the stream, which it was pretty dead, so of course you didn't. Basically, I go into my dungeon that's an 8.1 map, or a tier 8 map that I used. I go into my dungeon, some other guys are there. I'm like, okay, well, this is my dungeon map, friends, and they left. After inviting me to the party, I declined it. I was more than happy to fight them. I'm assuming this is actually them. I don't remember, but I think this was them, and I found a map after that one. It was a dungeon that was right on top of mine, so I went back into it, and you can see actually here that I ended up getting someone else coming into the dungeon immediately after I ended up fighting those guys, and I don't know what it was. It was just so weird that almost instantly I was trying to make a fucking thumbnail of the video, and this guy just comes in immediately afterwards, and I don't know, it just caught me so off guard that there was another person in this dungeon. And funnily enough, a little bit later after that, there's actually another group of 2 people. This was like a flat 7 map that I essentially walked into, and I was actually making another fucking thumbnail. I was like, okay, I'll make this the thumbnail. And then a fucking 2 more people walk into my dungeon, and I'm just like, I literally cannot. I was a little nervous to fight them at first just because it was a little bit of bad timing and I played it poorly at first. I definitely decided that I wanted to go back and try to fight them later on. But I decided that ultimately I probably could take them in a fight. If they used a little bit of cooldowns, it probably would have been more doable. But they weren't there and they decided to leave. So I ended up leaving with a pretty cheeky double or triple kill here. It didn't actually have a lot of good stuff in general. However, it was a very interesting instance of I don't know what the fuck. It was just weird overall, but I thought it was very neat, a very interesting little tidbit of whatever the hell happened here. It was definitely something. So either way, I think that pretty much wraps up this video for us today. This last week or so was actually pretty beneficial for the Iron Man account. We got a bunch of kills, we got a few deaths, as per usual, of course. The loot in my loot tab has grown quite a bit. I have some more raw silver because I've been doing a bunch of tier 8s and stuff like that. So it's been pretty good as far as like just getting my loot back and getting some materials and getting some gathering. It's been a pretty productive week overall. If you guys are interested in seeing more, you know what to do. I'll see you guys soon with more videos. I also want the mite. The mite's actually pretty useful. Also, speaking of which, did we reset on the weekly or whatever? We have not yet reset on the weekly. Oh, I thought he was dismounted. Oh. He invited me to a party. I have a feeling we're about to try fucking with these guys together. He's just gonna remount, yeah. I'm gonna die to creeps! Oh! My cleric robe didn't go off. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. That's so funny. I had nothing on me. I don't fucking care. That's so funny. Oh my god, I died to creeps. I knew he was gonna do that, the fucking rat bastard. Oh my god. I knew he would do it too. I was like, I was gonna say, this is the part where he just leaves the party and